Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the What Are We Doing podcast. My name's Levi McCurdy, and this is episode 195. We have almost caught up to Carlos, and we have almost hit episode 200. Megs did the math. We're going to be in Mexi Wexy when we hit episode 200, so you know episode 200 is going to be, who knows? Who knows what guest, what's going to be said? John Dunkel might show up to episode 200. Carlos is definitely going to be on episode 200. We might have Mo there. Episode 200 may or may not be 4 hours long.
What are we doing?
I don't know. I might try to plan the biggest episode ever. And so it's possible. It's potentially possible. We might have some time during the trip with everyone involved to get something done, a mega ep per se. Maybe we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see who wants to be involved and everything that goes down. Inevitably, we'll probably record nothing.
What are we doing?
You know what I mean? But it's another episode of the What Are We Doing podcast, and here we are, and we've got none other than the 47th president of the United States making his rounds yet again. And so, of course, naturally, last week we weren't going to get into it, you know what I mean? The whole Iran deal and everything going on over there. And, just all that nonsense. Daddy said he was going to give us 2 weeks. Trumpsy Wumpsy said he was going to give us 2 weeks and then decide. But as soon as I stopped recording that day, Trumpsy Wumpsy decided that it wasn't 2 weeks, it was just 2 minutes. Boop, send the missiles.
What are we doing?
We sent a group of B-52 bombers this way, and we sent another group of B-52 bombers this way. One was a distraction, one was the real deal, a 37-hour round trip for these two wonderful, amazing pilots, I guess what we have to, you know what I mean? Congratulations for a successful job well done. If you've seen the headlines, you know, they flew, they dropped the load, it was a success, we hit the targets, the nuclear facilities. Here's the issue, folks. They essentially just blew up Iran's version of 3 Mile Island.
What are we doing?
Yeah, that's that's an issue. Okay, we don't need 3 Mile Island exploding again, even though it already has once before.
What are we doing?
But at the end of the day, you know what I mean? That would be terrible for Pennsylvania, let alone the United States, let alone Iran. So, it's a big deal, but not in the sense that Trump had said that, you know what I mean? We got to stop Iran from having a nuclear weapon, right? But they don't, it's the same play. It's the same copy and paste job we did in 2008 with Bushy Wushy when he said, we've got to stop Iraq from having these weapons of mass destruction. And guess what? Much like Iran, Iraq's didn't exist either.
What are we doing?
And we wasted 20 years and trillions of dollars and countless lives were lost for no particular reason, right? And so at the end of the day, sure, mission success, thumbs up, great job, Trump administration. We're in the situation room. We got it on lock. We know what we're doing. We've got 13 bombs to drop and boom, bam, chicken slam. They blew it all up. And you know what I mean? I don't think anyone was, I think the Iranians, they got their people out of there. I don't think there was, I'm not sure 100%. Check me in the comments, but I don't think it was just kind of a facility that was lost, right? And so at the end of the day, this was then supposed to trigger what Trump said, peace in the Middle East.
What are we doing?
You've literally, in the same breath, have the President of the United States who just issued a 14-bomb payload from a B-52 stealth bomber. Something that only this country has, by the way. They're fucking sick, but yo, bro, I don't think I could do it for 37 hours just using microwave popcorn, going to the bathroom, and talking to whoever this Joe Schmo is sitting beside me. So it's got to be a freaking just tedious task getting to and back and from. And in the same breath of Trump telling us that this happened, he says, now is time for peace.
What are we doing?
The man who just ordered the launch and execution of 13 bombs on a Middle Eastern country in the same breath says that now is a time for peace. And so naturally, we have it's a roller coaster. Our emotions are all over the place. There is a ceasefire. Then Israel went off and blasted more bombs into Iran. So then now Trump's pissy. Now Trump's dropping F-bombs. The second bomb Trump dropped this week was an effing F-bomb, dude. Live CNN. We've got all of the newscasters, dude. They prepped us for this because this is something that no one's ever heard of before. The F word is something that no one has ever heard of before in this country. So all of the news outlets have to like come in and be like, we have to warn you now. The president is using very inappropriate language, and this is something that we need to warn you about. And it's like, dude, it is so funny when Trump drops the F-bomb on national television. And I mean, hey, why not?
What are we doing?
Why wouldn't he?
You know, when I say, okay, now you have 12 hours,
Yep.
you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because the one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Wow! Hey, that's what Trump needs. Trump needs a button, dude. Instead of dropping F-bombs on CNN, Donald, I've got some advice. Zaddy T, I got some advice for you. Instead of dropping F-bombs on CNN, you need to get yourself one of these. This is the official What Are We Doing golden button. He's going to love it because it's gold. You know what I mean? He's got the gold card. He's got the gold phone. The third thing that Donald Trump needs in his hands at all given times, he's got the phone in his pocket. He's got the card in his wallet. He needs a button. He needs the What Are We Doing button that's gold that he can just keep. And so instead of dropping the F-bomb, he could have been like, we've got Israel and Iran who've been fighting for so long that they don't know. What are we doing? And then he just hits the button and walks off on the Air Force One. That'd be gangster. That'd be gangster. He'd be even more gangster than dropping the F-bomb on CNN, let alone having his own What Are We Doing button. So if you know or are connected to him or your team members or a Secret Service member or the Secretary of State or Caroline Leavitt, gosh, she's hot, or whoever else, I don't even know because I don't know anything about politics, nor did I vote. I don't know. I'm not a Republican or a Democrat or a liberal. Whatever they call me in the comments, that's what I am. If you can get me in touch with Trump, I'd love to send him. He doesn't even have to pay for it. What if a free product? Hey, what does Donald Trump love more than a free product?
What are we doing?
And so just let me know and I'll get him a button. You know what I mean?
What are we doing?
Get him a button. And so, you know what I mean? We're dropping bombs. We're dropping bombs left and right. There's a ceasefire. There's not a ceasefire. Who knows? Who knows? At this point in time, it's like, I've just got, all I've got is a worried fiance. Like, are they going to shoot missiles at us? Are we dead? Are we going to war? Like, what are we doing? And I'm like, no one else has B-52 bombers. No one else has missiles that can shoot that far to the United States. If anything, they'll just attack our embassies over there. And guess what? It's going to be a shit day for any United States troops in the Middle East.
What are we doing?
So that's how it'll affect the United States. You know what I mean? All of us here stateside, we're good to go. Keep eating your Cheetos, babe. You know what I mean? But so naturally after that, we've got to fluctuate, okay? We've got a lot of bad this last week, so we've got to bring it back up to a positivity train. And what better way to do that than send Donald Trump himself to NATO and their summit and whatever it is that they do, try to keep world peace. I don't know. If you know what NATO does, let me know in the comments. But of course, that ended, or not ended, but at some point, somewhere in the middle, with Donald Trump and basically the NATO leader. Listen to this. He calls him Dad. Listen to this.
Fighting each other. They've had it. They've had a big fight, like two kids in a schoolyard. You know, they fight like hell. You can't stop them. Let them fight for about 2-3 minutes. Then it's easier to stop them.
And then Daddy has to sometimes use strong language.
You have to use strong language. Every once in a while, you have to use a certain word. They're not going to be fighting each other. They've had.
What are we doing?
We called him Daddy. You know what I mean? Now listen. Was he saying, like, you know what I mean? The kids are going to fight and you got to break them up. And like, when you break the kids up, that's a daddy move. But like, We called him daddy.
What are we doing?
You know what I mean? And to that, all I have to say is I've been calling him Zaddy Trumpets for years.
Daddy's home. What are we doing?
You know what I mean, dude? And so the fact that the White House is editing videos and putting it on their social media with Usher music in the background, I mean...
Daddy's home. What are we doing?
Custom, brand new, all new button featuring Usher. You know what I mean?
Daddy's home. What are we doing?
It's great. I love it. I love it. I love that we live in an era. We live in a world and in a reality where the President of the United States can one day go from telling us on the campaign trail that a simple phone call, a quick 20-minute Zoom call with the leaders of the rest of the world, and all wars are over. All confrontations, all wars, the Ukraine, Russia, one simple teeny tiny phone call, and Donald Trump's going to take care of it. We went from that to, give me 2 weeks and we'll decide if we're going to bomb them, to, give me 20 minutes, we're going to bomb them. We're not going to war. We're hopefully going to get a lot of peace out of this. And then at the end of it, head to a NATO conference and have his social media team film him getting off the plane to the music of Usher. Daddy's home.
What are we doing?
I mean, come on, Zaddy Trumpet. I mean, and it's more irritating the fact that I've been calling him Zaddy for so long. I mean, who was the first one to call him Daddy? Me, dude. I put a Z on it, but Zaddy, it means the same thing. And so the fact that now we have the leaders of NATO's national conference, whatever, world leaders, pulling bits from the What Are We Doing podcast, I mean, it's time to stand up and fight for our rights. And that's our right to party. You know what I mean? Or whatever the Beastie Boys said. Okay, so... listen, this is nothing new, folks. If you just listen to the What Are We Doing podcast, we've been calling Zaddy Trumpets for like the last, I don't know, year and a half.
What are we doing?
Now, all of a sudden, it's cool to call Donald Trump daddy. You know what I mean? It's like I'm setting these trends every single freaking week, and then boop, someone just steals the idea and just starts to run with it as if it's their own, as if I haven't been referring to him as Zaddy Trumpets for the last year to 3, maybe even 4 years.
What are we doing?
Listen, we've got some news, okay? We've got some news. You have your favorite shows, you know what I mean? And I know a lot of you, this audience, I think our audience ranges from like 25 to 35 years old. So a lot of you probably aren't watching Nickelodeon anymore. And spoiler alert, for those of you who don't have children and haven't been watching Nickelodeon, basically, it's gone, you know what I mean? Kind of, it's not, it is what it is, but like the shows, like they're still clinging to the prop, like we're still pumping out episodes of SpongeBob SquarePants.
What are we doing?
And it's at this point, like Dora the Explorer's had 4 different reboots. She's still on, new episodes coming soon. Like the whole premise of the Nickelodeon that we grew up with obviously isn't the same. And to the point, I mean, it shouldn't be, right? It would be kind of weird if they just were still playing like Hey Arnold, Cat Dog, Angry Beavers, Rugrats, and Rocket Power, and Danny Phantom, and all of the other Nickelodeon shows that we all grew up with. You know what I mean? Obviously now the next generations, they've come along. And so with this generation, we have none other than the Tiny Chef. And we've been waiting to hear if it was going to get renewed or not. And by God, we got our answer.
Where's brother Tiny Chef here? Hey, Black Whoa there, Black Keyword. Ready to cook up some more episodes? Black got a brilliant blanket. Cancelled? Bloody me cancelled. But listen, but we had training, but you behave on set by promise. But I have black ears that will blow your minds. I've been... But
his lips are quivering. We won an Emmy.
What about Rob?
What about Rob?
And Jen.
And Jen?
Cake. Patty. Bram cake. Where?
He's crying.
But all my friends.
They made Tiny Chef sad.
What are we doing?
And I mean, Nickelodeon, shame on you. I mean, come on. Like, to be honest with you, this should have been an instant reversal. I mean, I'm tearing up. The damn little tiny chef. I don't even know what the thing is, but he talks funny, and he's a tiny little chef. And I know we've seen him on commercials when my son's watching TV or something, but the fact that Nickelodeon has gone out of their way to make this poor, innocent, tiny little fictional character that doesn't even actually exist in the world sad. I mean, the little lips are quivering, the tears are coming down his eye. What's going to happen to all of his friends? He promised all of his friends, just like David Dobrik's Vlog Squad. You can't promise your friends the world and an unlimited fortune when the show gets canceled. You know what
are we doing?
Like you gotta be like, hey, we gotta pitch a new show. We gotta find a new network. You know what I mean? And just looking at the comments, dude, first of all, we've got some contenders. Popeyes wants to give him a job. All he's got to do is go to ifranchise.craig.com, get himself a Popeyes polo, and he's got the job at Popeyes instantly, Tiny Chef.
What are we doing?
Listen to last week's episode where I tell you exactly how to get a job at your favorite establishment. It's easy as pie. All you got to do is find their merch store online. It's publicly accessible, and just order yourself a polo with their logo on it. They'll give you a job on the spot. It's instant game over for everybody else. You know what I mean? So Tiny Chef could be going to Popeyes, or next comment down, we've got Amazon, baby. We've got Amazon. So Amazon might be picking up a new season of Tiny Chef. Canceled after 2 seasons, dude. Shame on you. Like, we kept Dan Schneider around for 20 plus years. Like, you know, doing things to the kids, like on every show.
What are we doing?
But Tiny Chef comes in for 2 seasons, is adorable as hell, and he's ready to go, and you guys are just out here canceling him. So I think there's a petition going around. If there isn't one, let's create one. If there's a GoFundMe, I'm sure Tiny Chef and all of his friends will create a GoFundMe so that he can get all the money that'll never go to him. And so I think we just need to shout from the rooftops. We need to shout from the rooftops that Tiny Chef should not have been canceled. We need to bring it back, maybe a Netflix show, whatever you guys think is best. If you're a fan of Tiny Chef, I mean, now you're not. How can you not? How can you not be a fan of this little tiny stupid thing? I don't even know what it is, but it's got a chef hat on, and they call him the Tiny Chef. You know what I mean? Like, look how sad he is.
I love you too.
Oh.
Bye.
Just goes back to clean it. Are you insane? Nickelodeon, if you don't shut the fuck up,
What are we doing? What are we doing?
This
What are we doing? What are we doing?
On your
What are we
network
doing?
right
What
now.
are we doing?
Bring Tiny Chef, bring Daddy home. I mean, come on, bro. The little dude, he tries to go back to cleaning, he just starts bawling, dude. I mean, why is that? Why is this not? I mean, this should be. God damn it, Nickelodeon. Why is everyone pissing me off? Why does everyone continuously piss me off? You know what I mean? Like, even more that'll piss you off. Hot take. Here's my hot take. Get me on the subway with the guy in the Metro card. Get me on with him so I can tell him my hot take. We gotta stop. We gotta stop letting Will Smith attempt to do freestyles.
What are we doing?
I don't know what PR campaign, manager, whatever, maybe his wife, I don't want to say her name, he might pop up in the studio and smack the shit out of me. But at the end of the day, I don't know who told Will or put this nugget in his head that, like, hey man, the slap kind of ruined your career. The movies haven't been great. Like, we don't really have any new movies in the pipeline. No studios really want to work with you. And he's like, bet, I'll just do the only thing I can do myself, and that's make weird YouTube videos and Instagram reels, and boop, I'm just going to get right back into the thick of it and start making new music again in 2005.
What are we doing?
And so the issue with that is Will Smith doesn't realize that it's 2005 and his flow is outdated, his lyrics are outdated, the whole gesture, the whole attitude about it all, it's just simply not good. And then on top of the freestyles, we'll get to an example in a moment. He's even got, he's put a song out. And this song, I don't even know what it's called. I'm not even going to attempt to play it. YouTube will strike us down in a moment, but it's this song. And it's like, I like a pretty girl or something. I like a lot of pretty girl. I think the main chorus of Will Smith's new song is like, I like pretty girls.
What are we doing?
And if we're being honest, what the internet has discovered is that the song only sounds good when you put it on 1.25 speed. Like if you play the song on YouTube or Twitter or wherever and put it on 1.25x, then like it sounds so much better. Like it's not, we don't even know what tempo to use in 2025, let alone lyricism in 2025 from Will Smith.
What are we doing?
And so he's got this freestyle out, dude, and I think he's with like a UK radio host, and he's allegedly taking shots at Chris Rock, dude. This is still something that lives, and I think it will inevitably for the rest of his life until Will Smith stresses himself out so much to the point where he has a stroke and it's maybe not looking good for Will Smith anymore, and we're all going to be like, hopefully Will's okay. Like, it's getting to the point now where the whole Chris Rock thing will never leave the front #1 Billboard spot of his mind. So much so that he's now incorporating it into his freestyle. Listen to just, God, it's terrible. Just listen. I mean,
Yeah. Big Will. Yeah. Charlie Slav in the building.
And by the way, Charlie Slav, it doesn't help that Charlie and they have this reverb echo on their microphone, so it doesn't help the fact that Will Smith has the most terrible freestyle of all time that's about to happen here. But we've got his friend Charlie, who's just doing ad-libs and backing him up with, yeah, oh, kill him. And it's so cringe, dude. It's so bad. I can't. I watched this thing and I laughed the whole time. Listen to this.
Come on, Dad. Here we go. The whole world dark as night, let there be light. My insights don't sound right in sound bites. I be sitting at the table with the Jedi Knights. Y'all still sleeping on me like red-eye flights. I ain't a prima donna, I just ain't with all the drama. I took a little Ali, mixed it up with Obama. Suffocated poverty, now I got wealth trauma. Dropping game in my IG stories, a stealth bomber. Road to success, navigated the narratives. Raised 3 kids, made it through 2 marriages.
By the way, I can rap better than Will Smith.
What are we doing?
I don't have a beat. I don't have a beat prepared, but I'm telling in the next 72 to 128 hours, sometime next week, maybe. I swear to God, give me 20 minutes. I can do, it's the most boring thing. Like, we can't, he still is in his same, like, I gotta be a good boy rapper and I can't, like, I'll cuss a little bit, but I'm not gonna talk about, like, what, you know what I mean? It's not gonna be good in the sense of, like, oh, I got 3 kids and made it through 2 marriages. Hey, so is the rest of us.
What are we doing?
I mean, not me, but on average, people you know, and, you know, whatever, most millennials these days are on their 2nd marriage, you know? So, like, Will Smith, you're not special.
What are we doing?
And it's like, whatever, dude. So now listen to this next part. He's going to diss Chris Rock. Listen, I mean, with the most metaphorical way possible, of course.
Oscars, Emmys, Grammys, and when I stare at them, hearing them whisper, you got every right to be arrogant. You in the presence of greatness, still gracious, top-notch taste, too allergic to basics. Y'all can look, but you'll never find a replacement. And all this from Jeff's mom's basement. I am the illest. Yes, yeah. I am the illest. The motherfucking illest.
No, you're not. I don't know. I can't handle it. I cannot explain to you how happy and how funny it is, how happy I am to hear Will Smith scream into the microphone, I'm the illest. Oh!
What are we doing?
Come on.
Man to move in malicious ways, and I am too grown to play childish games. But if you talking crazy out your face up on the stage and disrespect me on the stage, expect me on the stage. Jokers dish it out, cry foul when it's...
Come on, bro. Weakest line against Chris Rock ever. Okay, listen to that again. He says,
your face up on the stage ways, and I am too grown to play childish games. But if you talking crazy out your face up on the stage and disrespect me on the stage, expect me on the stage. Jokers
What are we doing?
I'm done. It's not good. The new music isn't good. No one wants to hear it. No one is going to listen to it. Whose idea was it for Will Smith to get back in the music game? You know what I mean?
Daddy's home.
And so, I mean, even more embarrassing, he does this like street concert the next day, and there is not a single soul on the planet bumping with him. It is just him doing his music. Look at this.
You and your bestie, you and your twin on your jet ski. I'll change your life if you let me.
No one is moving. No one is singing. There is one person going like this with their hands. And guess what? When Rita Ora shows up, guess what? No one gives a shit. Except for Will effing Smith.
What are we doing? I like pretty girls. That's crazy. See, that's how that song works. You just put it on, they just show up.
I can't. I won't. I'm not. It's like no one. Is it because they're all on their phones? Or do you, I mean, let's just give Will Smith the benefit of the doubt. Either no one's dancing because they're all on their phones and they want the most steady shot possible because they know a video filmed by them will go viral of Will Smith and Rita Ora, or is no one dancing because no one knows the song he's playing because he just released it 3 weeks ago and no one's heard it, and actually no one wants to dance to Will Smith music?
What are we doing?
Listen, homie, I pulled this whole thing out of the hat 3 years ago. When I stopped playing Will Smith at weddings 3 years ago because guess what? Every time I played like Miami or Getting Jiggy With It or any other Will Smith song, not a single soul was on the dance floor. They all immediately left. And it just was very, 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 very apparent to us that Will Smith isn't / maybe wasn't it when it came to the whole music category.
What are we doing?
And so, man, this shit that he's been doing is just one of those things that we probably need to just like shut down. Like for the radio stations and the YouTubers who are doing the freestyles, who think that like this is great, like you're only going viral because it's out. It's not.
What are we doing?
And so now we have to talk about this bizarre thing that happened like yesterday or has been happening for the last few days. Like it's the Liver King versus Joe Rogan. So for those of you who don't know, the Liver King made his rounds a few years ago when he started coming out and getting on podcasts and saying things like, all I do is eat raw meat, raw liver, raw chicken, and my supplements. And then he'd smack them off the table and he'd put a link on the screen to go buy the Liver King supplements that you too could get and take if you want to be ripped and jacked and so muscular beyond physical human reality. All you got to do is eat raw liver meat and the supplements. And so at the end of the day, the Liver King then went on Bert Kreischer's podcast. He went on all Flagrant. Every single one of Joe Rogan's friends who has a podcast, the Liver King has been on, except for Joe Rogan himself.
What are we doing?
And for that, Joe Rogan's excuse or reasoning behind the fact that he hasn't had the Liver King on is because he knew back then and knows now even today more that the Liver King is a liar. The Liver King is out here telling everyone on the planet, every single person he passed, every podcast he's been on, I'm not on testosterone, I'm not on steroids, and I'm not on steroids, okay?
What are we doing?
Ethan Klein, everybody, anyone who tried to say that the Liver King was on steroids 2 to 3 years ago, like he almost would like punch you in the face and permanently hurt you for like the rest of your life. And so now, on top of it, we've got him crashing out because what happened? Oh, we exposed him. Oh, it got leaked. His doctor leaked it and said, hey, bro, this guy is on 10 grand worth of steroids every month.
What are we doing?
So we essentially, after that document got leaked and Joe Rogan and everybody on the internet was like, I told you so. We knew he was on steroids. He's obviously a liar. Thank God he didn't go in the JRE. And so now we've essentially destroyed his reputation. No one can trust the Liver King anymore. No one wants to watch him anymore because why would we like and follow and trust a liar? And so this has led the Liver King into a mental spiral. It has led him down the path of what is seemingly at no return, okay? Whether he is on drugs, which we are pretty sure he might be, allegedly, I don't know. But I think based on his behavior in these videos, he's either having a manic episode, like something's crazy, or he's on just a plethora of drugs.
What are we doing?
And it's probably a combination of both. And so now, fast forward to here we are, 2025. We haven't heard from Mr. Liver King in like, I don't know, the last couple of years. But now he's back. And it's the only way he knows how to go viral is to not even talk about himself, but to bring up the number one man on the internet, that is of Joe Rogan. And so what better way to go viral in 2025 is to that of say you are going to fight Joe Rogan.
What are we doing?
You know what I mean? And so the Liver King he's lost it. Listen, this is him, right?
Man to man, I'm picking a fight with you. Yeah. I have zero training in jiu-jitsu. You're a black belt. You should dismantle me. But I'm picking a fight with you. Your rules, whatever you want me to weigh, I'll weigh it.
So that's the first weird
What are we
video.
doing?
Then we've got Sauce, Tiny Chef. He keeps trying to come back. Poor Tiny Chef. And so, like, you know what I mean? He's just making these ranting videos of him on TikTok and Instagram saying that he wants to fight Joe Rogan. It should be easy for Joe. Like, he's basically, you know what I mean? He's probably putting something in his arm that isn't steroids.
What are we doing?
And so at the end of the day, you know what I mean? He travels to Texas. He travels to Texas and is still on Instagram and TikTok threatening Joe Rogan, like saying he's going to come to the studio. He wants to fight Joe Rogan. And so naturally, Joe calls the police and they go arrest his ass.
What are we doing?
The Tiger King gets arrested in the middle of Texas. And so now, naturally, with being released on bond, he's got a lot of money, probably no price. It's fine. He's out and about, but he's got an ankle monitor on and he's still making weird as shit videos. Like, this is clearly him in his hotel room, just doing... Who let him out of jail, dude? What?
What do we do?
Lock it down.
What are we doing?
Hey, why didn't we keep him in prison? It's clear that this man has some psychological issues, whether it's drug prone or not, but like, let's maybe give him 20 minutes in the fish drunk tank or like a padded room somewhere maybe, because this isn't normal behavior. Once again, I think we're gonna have to start a segment with Monet. We're gonna have to call Mo. We're gonna have to call her, and we're gonna have to let her know that we need an analysis here. Is this drugs? Is this mental? Like, where are we at with the Liver King? So naturally, he gets arrested. He gets out, and what better way than we don't need Joe Rogan to talk. Like, Joe Rogan doesn't need to address this. But what better way to try to piggyback off of the virality of the Liver King calling out Joe Rogan, getting arrested and still wanting to fight Joe Rogan and using his name to go viral? Not like what we're doing here with this segment, but what better way and better person to do so than failed podcaster, moved to Texas recently and hates his life, Brendan Schaub.
What are we doing?
And for those of you who don't know, we'll get to his reaction in a minute. Brendan Schaub just picked up his entire life and family, moved to Texas with the rest of the Rogan-verse, all because his boy Brian Callen is now back in the Rogan sphere. He moved to Texas. He's doing stand-up comedy now. His career's taking off in comedy, finally. And so that leaves baby Brendan with an empty chair next to him. And so he's got to still do the podcast with Brian. He can't do Fighter and the Kid without the kid. So we need Brian Callen. So he has to move to Texas. And what better way than to set up a podcast studio in Texas than in a storage locker that has an automatic light shut off every 20 minutes, no AC. So Brendan had to go out and buy an industrial size AC unit that is loud as shit, that Chin cannot get the background noise out of. You hear it every 20 minutes. And it's like, oh, by the way, if they don't move, the lights shut off. Oh, and also it's right next to the train tracks. So probably about once an episode from here on out, you're going to hear a massive roar and horn of a train going by Thick Boy Studios, a.k.a. Brendan's storage locker.
What are we doing?
Down at the U-Haul U-Store in Texas. And so this is the best he could do for the time being because the podcasts are failing. They're not making any money. Thick Boy Studios is going down quick. Brian Callen will inevitably, probably by the end of this year, if not next year, leave the podcast altogether. Brendan will try to replace him. Chin will work for free. It'll be a whole mess of a mess. But I am Brendan, he's probably regretting this move to Texas.
What are we doing?
And so here's him piggybacking off of the virality of the Liver King and Joe Rogan, talking about how, the Liver King's an idiot to think that he's going to get to Joe Rogan through his Navy SEALs, bro. Blah, 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 blah.
Liver King. Let's say you pull off what you think you're going to do and get access to Rogan, which is never happening. But let's say you're able to get through the fucking wall of special forces security that he has, jump the gate that he has, get through security, get through all the bullshit, the guns, the dog, good fucking luck. But let's say he has a special set of skills and he does that. And then you get face to face with a guy who's trained in fucking Taekwondo. He's a black belt, competition black belt in Taekwondo, knocked out a million fucking dudes. Not to mention he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. Again, buddy, this is how you know he's not thinking clear. You can't fight. I know you think you're tough, but there's levels to that. And he might be a tough guy. And there's a lot of tough guys. Oh, yeah. And I know he, walks barefoot and takes shits laying down and does enemas.
Which is true.
And he's tough in his world.
It's so funny.
There's levels to toughness, dude. And if your goal is to get attention by fighting Rogan and 100%, to go viral,
100%.
You go viral.
Yeah.
But you can go viral from getting beat the fuck up.
100%.
What are we doing?
So, and by the way, Brendan Schaub thinks that he can just beat anybody. Brendan Schaub is the only person on this planet that could beat Joe Rogan in his mind.
What are we doing?
So it's so strange that the Liver King, Joe Rogan, man. I mean, it's obviously a cry for help. And I think someone on the Liver King's team needs to really get there. So, hopefully that gets resolved soon. Listen, last bit, and then we'll get out of here real quick. The full cast of David Spade's new movie called Busboys has been released on IMDb. And if this isn't the epitome of the Rogan sphere YouTuber Kill Tony rejexification of a movie, then I don't know what is.
What are we doing?
I mean, starting from the top, and it goes in hierarchy order. Of course, we have David Spade, his movie, main character, of course, he's at the top of the list. Then we get to the Rogan sphere, and we've got the top three, okay? We've got the top three contenders. We've got Theo Von, of course. We've got Tim Dillon, of course. And we've got Bobby Lee, of course, okay? And that right there, those three with Spade, probably will carry the rest of the movie. Those three with David Spade, it's hopefully will be good. And I'm rooting for him. We love everything Theo does. We're huge fans of Tim Dillon. Bobby Lee needs to drop Kalila completely, and then he'll be good to go once his special comes out later this year, if it inevitably ever does, you know?
What are we doing?
So then we get into like the YouTuber of it all, because like this is how it goes. You have to pay David Spade the most, all of Joe Rogan's friends the next tier of money, then the YouTubers get a little less, and then the Kill Tony boys get a little less than that. So the YouTubers, we've got Trevor Wallace, of course, Jay Farrow, of course, Sky Bree, of course, and then, and I don't know why Sky Bree's here, but it's fine. Just give her the 5 minutes that she might deserve. I don't know. I really like her. Then we get to the Kill Tony verse, and we've got none other than Cam Patterson, Casey Rocket, William Montgomery, and a couple of other people. I don't know if they're on Kill Tony or not, but they look like they are. Hey, how much does Tony get from the deal?
What are we doing?
There's no chance in hell. There is no chance in hell that Tony Hinchcliffe is just relying on the money coming in from the show itself. There's no way that Tony Hinchcliffe put these people on. Tony Hinchcliffe created Cam Patterson, he created Casey Rocket, and he created William Montgomery all on his own. Not all on his own, with their help, of course, but you get what I'm trying to say here. So the fact that Kill Tony gave these boys the opportunity to do anything they wanted to do, and now presumably the class of 2024 has landed a David Spade, probably Adam Sandler finance-backed type of movie. Well, boy, God, it's their big break.
What are we doing?
And you cannot, what is it, 10%? Whatever these kids are making, I'm telling you, there is no way that Tony just lets these boys go out into the ether on their own and figure it out. There has got to be some sort of management deal, talent deal, acquisition, some form of transaction is happening. And when these boys get paid for this David Spade movie, Tony Hinchcliffe gets his tax.
What are we doing?
Come on, right? You can't, that's got to be the case. There's no chance in hell he would let that financial opportunity slip through his fingers. Now, he is grimy little Tony Hinchcliffe, but at the end of the day, he might not be that smart either, right?
What are we doing?
Ladies and gentlemen, my name's Levi McCurdy. This has been another episode of the What Are We Doing podcast. I'm so sorry it's short this week. Listen, there's not much going on. I didn't have too many stories or topics to do. And to be honest with you, I recorded and edited 2 whole other podcasts for a client of mine this week, and I am spent. So next week, I'll be back with a full 1-hour episode. Bet your bottom dollar we'll be here, we'll be ready, and we'll be excited for episode 196 of the What Are We Doing podcast. Please, if you haven't done so already, subscribe, okay? Hit that like button, hit the notification bell, and make sure that you get those notifications on your iPhone whenever it's time to watch the What Are We Doing podcast, whether it's a clip, a short, a YouTube, an Instagram, a TikTok. Follow us wherever you're social. If you're scrolling on TikTok, scroll on our profile for a little bit.
What are we doing?
You know what I mean? And we'll make it happen. Ladies and gentlemen, my name's Levi McCurdy. This has been another episode of the What Are We Doing podcast. Peace out, everybody. We'll see you next week.
What are we doing?